polynomial long division and synthetic division. The polynomial divisions should be review for you. So I'd like to start by having you do this problem. Pause your video, and when you're ready, press play to see the answer. Okay, here is the answer. And you'll notice that I set it up with my long division symbol. And I asked myself, how many times does x go into x to the fourth? My answer was x to the third, so I put it up on top. Then I multiplied x to the third times x minus 1 and got x to the fourth minus x to the third. Then I changed the signs and I added, and I got 4x to the third, and then I carried down my negative x squared, and I repeated the process, always switching the signs and adding, which is the same as subtracting, until I got down and had a remainder of 6. The 6 then came up here, and it was plus 6 over x minus 1, which is what I was dividing by. Now, I'd like to do one with you that is a little bit different than this. So it looks the same, except that you'll notice that there is not an x to the third term, and there is not an x term. So I have to put in a 0 placeholder for that. So I'm going to write it out. X to the fourth plus 0x to the third plus 2x squared plus 0x plus 1. All that is divided by x squared plus x minus 3. So again, I'm going to say, how many times does x squared go into x to the fourth? My answer is x to the squared times that. No, that goes up on top, x squared. Multiply that by x squared plus x minus 3. So I get x to the fourth plus x to the third, lining up my like terms, minus 3x squared. Now I'm going to change the signs and add, because that's the same as subtracting. And that gives me minus x to the third plus 5x squared. And now this time I'm going to bring down my plus 0x. So then again, I say, how many times does x squared go into negative x to the third? And the answer to that is it goes in negative x times. Now again, multiply through by negative x. So that is negative x to the third minus x squared plus 3x. Again, I'm subtracting, so I'm going to change my signs, and I'm going to add. So that gives me 6x squared minus 3x, and I'm going to carry down the 1. And then again, how many times does x squared go into 6x squared? And that is plus 6 times. So then I'll have 6x squared plus 6x minus 18. Again, changing the signs and adding. That gives me minus 9x plus 19 as a remainder. So I'm going to write that up here. Plus minus 9x plus 19 all over x squared plus x minus 3. And there is the answer. So the only thing that was different about this is that I had to put in the zeros for the placeholders. So when you have a term that's missing, you have to put in a 0 times that x term. Now, give this one a try. Pause your video when you're ready to see the answer. Press play. And here's the answer. Now what I want you to notice about this is that I have a remainder of 0. So what do you think that means? Well, let's see. I think it means that I can take 2x plus 1 and multiply it by x squared minus 5x plus 6, and that product has to equal 2x to the third minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6. So I'm going to write that out. Up here a little bit. All right, so let's see. 2x plus 1 times the quantity x squared minus 5x plus 6 has to equal 2x to the third minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6. So what it means is 2x plus 1 is a factor of this. And what's interesting is that if you tried to factor this by grouping, it just does not work. And that is a little preview of what's to come. We're going to find ways to factor when all of our traditional factoring methods fail us. So again, when you get 0 as a remainder, it means that what you're dividing by is a factor of your expression. Now next, I want you to try this. Give this a try, divide it. When you're ready to see the answer, press play. And here's the answer. And this had a remainder of 6. So up top, I'm going to write plus 6 over x plus 1. And this is a nice special case. You'll notice that we're dividing by a linear factor. And when that happens, there's another procedure we can use for our division. It's called synthetic division. It may be used in the special case when the divisor is a linear factor of the form x minus a or x plus a. And you'll notice that was definitely the case here. It was x plus 1. So let's give that a try. I'm going to show you how we can divide this synthetically. When you divide by synthetic division, you put what would be, it's going to be the opposite of the plus 1. We're going to put minus 1. So if I set this equal to 0 and solve for x, that's what goes right there. Then I'm going to list the coefficients out of my terms, making sure to leave in placeholders for any missing terms. So my coefficients are 1, -1, 0, -2, and +2. And I'm going to do this right by the long division so that we can see that we get the same answer. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to bring down this 1. Then you multiply the 1 by what's here, 1 times -1, and that is -1. You put it here, and then you add straight down. It's going to give me -2. Then I'm going to multiply my -2 by my -1. That's going to go here. That's +2. I'm going to add straight down. That gives me 2. Multiply the 2 and the -1. That's -2. Again, add straight down. -4. Multiply the -4 by the -1, and that is 4. And add straight down, and that is 6. And you should notice these are the coefficients of my answer up here. And this is my remainder. So how do we know how to write this? Well, I'm dividing by a linear factor, so the degree of my answer is going to be 1 less than what I'm dividing. So this 1 is going to go in front of x to the third. Notice that is 1 less than the degree of my polynomial, minus 2x squared. My terms decrease by 1 in the exponent, plus 2x minus 4, and then there's my remainder, plus 6 over x plus 1. And that is synthetic division. Why don't you give this a try? When you're ready to see the answer, press play. And here is the answer. All of the coefficients are listed out. Again, you bring down the 3, you multiply the 3 and the -2, that becomes -6, add straight down, repeat the process, 12 goes here, add straight down, repeat the process, keep going until the very end, -83 is the remainder, then your answer is 1 less, the degree is 1 less than what you started with. So it's 3x to the 4th minus 6x to the 3rd plus 10x squared minus 19x plus 38. And then again, my remainder is this -83. I could have written this as plus and then put the negative there. And the negative down here is just as fine. I could have subtracted it just as well. But be careful if you end up with a binomial up here in this numerator. If you put a minus out in front, that minus needs to get distributed to both terms. And that concludes my discussion of synthetic division and long division. Check Schoology for your assignment. Have a nice day.